Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with an au pair Q&A, answering some questions that I would get all the time when I was an au pair. For those of you who don't know, I was an au pair in Paris, France for a 10-month period between August 2019 and June 2020. So today I'm just going to be answering a few frequently asked questions that I would get all the time from people who were interested about being an au pair or didn't know what I was doing. First question is, what is an au pair? So an au pair is basically like a live-in nanny in a sense. It's supposed to be a cultural exchange. So the family will hire someone, usually from another country, a native speaker of another language, usually English, but it could be of any language. And then that person will come live with the family for 10 months to a year. They'll take care of the kids and be a part of the family, teach the kids their language, and be like a big sister in a sense, a part of the family and help out, just like a big sister would. So the difference between an au pair and a nanny is a little bit more intense. Usually a nanny works between more like around 30 to 40 hours a week, and usually they'll take the kids to school, they'll maybe do the cooking, the cleaning, pick the kids up from school. It's very much like a full-time job, whereas an au pair is part-time. It's 20 to 25 hours per week. Usually the au pair will just pick up the kids from school. Sometimes, depending on the family, the au pair will take the kids to school as well. And they only work a few hours a day, and they usually have weekends off. So they don't have as many job duties as a nanny does, and they're paid less than a nanny would be paid. Do you teach them English? So yes, an au pair's job is to teach the kids their native language, which most of the time most families look for a native English speaker. So my job was to teach the kids English, and it's not so much like having strict English lessons and teaching the kids, physically teaching the kids English, but it's more just like only speaking to the kids in English, playing with them in English so that they're kind of immersed in the language and they learn to understand the language and learn how to speak the language. What was the process of becoming an au pair? The process is a little extensive, but I'll give you like the brief rundown. So first, I went on an au pair website. So I used aupairworld.com. It's 100% free. You just make a profile. You can put in the preferences of what country you want to go to, how many kids you're comfortable taking care of, when you want to start, things like that. And you can contact families, and families can contact you. You can also go through an agency if you choose to, which is more expensive. They do charge a fee, most agencies, but they will do the matching process for you. So they'll interview you, and then they'll interview families, and they will match you with whatever family they think is a good fit for you. I prefer to go the Au Pair World route because one, it's free, and two, I feel like you have a little bit more control over what family you go to because you decide the family. You know, you come to a mutual agreement with the family, and there's no agency who's taking control and matching you with the family. You get to decide for yourself. So I like that a little better, so that's what I chose to do. Once I found a family that I interviewed with, we liked each other, we decided it was a good fit, we signed a contract, and then I went through my visa process. I applied for my visa, and my host family got me set up with a social security card and my health insurance, a SIM card, all that good stuff. I'll make another video going through the process because it is very extensive and I don't want to talk too much on this video. What is the schedule like? So again, this varies by country and by each family. So each country has their own guidelines of how many hours the au pair can work, and then of course how many weeks of vacation, how many days off the au pair gets, etc., etc. So thankfully I chose France, which is a country that loves to take vacations, and I was lucky enough to have like I think 5 or 6 weeks of vacation, plus I had weekends off as well. So my schedule was super chill. The parents took the kids to school in the morning, and I just had to pick them up from school at 4:30, brought them home, helped them with their homework. I fed the baby, gave him a bath, put his pajamas on, helped the 6-year-old with her homework, and then played with them a bit, got her in pajamas, and then the parents would come home around 7:30. We would eat dinner around 8:30, and then after that I was done. And that was Monday through Friday. Wednesdays, the kids don't have school, so my days are a little longer on Wednesdays. So I had the 6-year-old all day on Wednesday. The baby went to a creche, so I didn't have to worry about him. I just had the 6-year-old, and she had some activities throughout the day that I would have to take her to, but other than that, it was just me and her her hanging out throughout the day, and then Saturday mornings I had to babysit every Saturday morning for like 2 hours in the morning. It wasn't bad. And then after that I had the rest of the weekend, and I had about 5 or 6 weeks off throughout the year. So I definitely had a good amount of vacation time, which I'm very thankful for. But of course this will vary depending on what country you go to and what family you're with. Sometimes they don't take vacation every time. They have to work, and you know, it varies. How much do you get paid as an au pair, and is it sustainable? Au pairs don't get paid very much. This is very much a job. I'd call it a job because it's not really a job. This is very much something that you do for the experience, not for the money, because au pairs don't get paid a lot. Again, this varies depending on what country you go to, and each family is different. So in France, I believe the minimum that a family can pay their au pair is 80 euro per week. And this of course varies. If you live in a small town in France where the cost of living is less, then they may pay you just 80 and they won't pay you more than that. If you live in a big city like Paris or something like that and the cost of living is higher, usually they'll pay you around 90 to 100 euro per week. Thankfully, I got a great family and they paid me 130 euro per week, so it was more than enough to live off of, considering I'm living in their house, so I'm not paying for accommodation. We ate dinner together every night, well, Monday through Friday when I was working, so I had extra money for groceries, but I didn't have to buy them really because we ate dinner together. They paid for my phone bill, they paid for my transportation. So yeah, it was sustainable for me because I really didn't have any other bills. I mean, you're not going to be rolling in the dough, but you'll have extra money to go out with friends occasionally, and I was able to travel to about 6 different countries during my time as an au pair, so it's definitely doable if you know how to work it. Is it hard to live in France and not know French? So at first it was a little intimidating for me because I didn't know any French before I moved to France. It's definitely not hard because most people in France, especially the big cities like Paris and Nice, most people speak English. No matter how much they tell you, they don't. They may not always want to, but in case of an emergency, if you really can't communicate, most of the time they will speak English with you. So it definitely was a little intimidating, and I was always very anxious in the beginning when I had to go out somewhere and speak French, but you get used to it. It's fine. I never really had any problems because I didn't speak French well. I was always able to get things figured out, and usually I could find someone who spoke English. How is it making friends? Making friends, I think this also depends on what city you go to. If you are in a smaller city, of course it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make friends, but if you're in a big city like Paris, it's definitely a lot easier to make friends. There are tons of Facebook groups for au pairs in Paris, international students in Paris, expats in Paris, Americans in Paris, Germans in Paris, any kind of group of people you can think of, there's a Facebook group for it, and so it's definitely super easy to make friends that way. I met one of my best friends in Paris through a Facebook group for au pairs in Paris, so it's definitely not hard to make friends, but you do have to be active and kind of intentional about putting yourself out there and being open to making friends, because obviously it's a little more difficult when you're in a new place, let alone a new country, to make friends. But of course there's tons of expats and people from all over the world who live in Paris, and tons of students. It's a huge, like, student-friendly city, so it's not hard to make friends there. Is it weird to live with a family? In the beginning, it was a little strange to live with a family that I've never met before in a new country. You know, you're living in their house, so it could be a little awkward at first, but you know, it gets better. The au pair always has their own room, and I was lucky enough to have my own room, my own bathroom, my own kitchen, and I had a separate entrance, and it was in the bottom level of the house. So that was great because I felt very independent and I had my own space. I could leave, come and go as I pleased, and I didn't have to worry about like waking up the whole family and like awkwardly walking through the house in the middle of the night. So that was great. I felt like it was a good amount of like family time and being a part of the family and having time to hang out with everyone, but then also having enough space and like being independent when I wanted to, or like in my time off. So that was definitely good. Is it easy to travel as an au pair? So thankfully I lived in a big city. Any major city, at least for Europe, I'll say, any major European city usually has Flixbus, which is a super good option for students or au pairs like myself because it's super cheap and it can take you anywhere in Europe for a very low price. There's also trains, other bus companies, there's BlaBlaCar, which is a carpooling company. So there are super affordable options for students and au pairs to travel throughout Europe. So it's all just about managing your money, because you know we don't get paid a lot. So managing your money, I would advise you to come with some money saved, because you know we don't make a lot of money as au pairs, and if you're coming here because you want to travel, then obviously you want to have some money saved before you come here, so that they'll have a little more leeway and you don't have to worry about saving each week's pocket money because you're saving up to take this trip. So just come with some savings and know how to manage your money, and you will be able to travel as much as your little heart desires. What can you do if you're in a bad au pair situation? Are you stuck there, or can you leave at any time? So of course, if you are in a situation where you're not getting along with your host family and you don't think it's a good fit, or they don't think it's a good fit, you are not obligated to stay by any means. You can leave at any time. Of course, if it's not like an immediate danger situation, it's advised to give your host family like a 2-week notice so that they have time to find another au pair. But of course, if it's an emergent situation where you're in danger, or it's just really not working out and you have to leave right away, you can leave right away. You don't have to give them notice. You can just tell them it's not working, I'm gonna leave, and terminate the contract immediately. You're definitely never stuck in a situation that is dangerous or that is not working out for you at all whatsoever. If you went through a website to find your family, then you would just get back on the website and try to find a new family. Or there's tons of Facebook groups, like I said earlier, where you can search for a new family. If you went through an agency, you would just let your agency know that it's not a good fit, and they would match you with a new family. So there are always options if your family does not work out the way you planned it to. I'm also going to make a video soon about some things to look out for when looking for a host family, so make sure to look out for that if you are in the process of finding your host family, so that you don't miss anything when you're doing your search. If you guys are in the process of finding your host families and becoming an au pair, I'm so excited for you. It was one of the best things I ever decided to do, and I think you will really enjoy it. I hope I was able to answer most of your questions. If you have any other questions that I forgot about, please feel free to leave them down below. That is it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!